Alright guys, who's ready for some Nintendo Switch Online details? Because Nintendo has finally started talking about it, giving a few more details on this whole service that's supposed to come in September, and there's still more things that they're holding back. But for now, we do know that they are bringing, of course, online play to several of their online titles. We are getting NES games available, but in addition, the thing that Andre is definitely super hyped about, saved data for the cloud backup. So yeah, you actually get cloud saving now, and then an interesting new family membership plan along with everything else. So there's a few things in here, and it's not huge, but we haven't heard anything about it, so what do you guys think?
I like the framework. I mean, I like actually most everything about this, but there's nothing here that gets me excited. The content itself, like the 20 NES games, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares now?
But it comes with an NES Classic.
Granted, they are adding online play, but these are in games I don't really want to play anymore. I mean, I'm sure I'll dabble with a feature, but otherwise, I mean, the price is good, like, especially with the family plan, how you can apparently split that among, what, 7 people, Derek, or something?
Yourself and 7 other people.
So, yeah, so $35 split, what, 8 ways total, I guess? That's pretty decent. So, if you do it that way. So yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, I think this isn't bad. It's just not exciting in and of itself at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I kind of feel like the NES selection should be exciting though. This is almost like a Netflix style of Virtual Console, and they've said they're going to be adding new games regularly. But I think NES just doesn't really excite us anymore at this point. Like, we want more, like Super Nintendo, and N64, or even like GameCube or something. Mm-hmm. I think we said before as well, like, we don't really care about multiplayer NES games, because after, like, maybe Contra, or I'm even slipping on trying to find multiplayer games here on top of my head. So
I mean, like, really Dr. Mario. I mean...
Yeah, Dr. Mario is probably what I'm most excited about for multiplayer.
Balloon Fight. But I mean, yeah, like, I kind of agree with both of you, or all of you, really. It's just not that exciting anymore. I mean, yes, NES games would be exciting, I guess, by themselves, maybe, but again, I think more than anything, it's that we're just getting ready for this drip feed thing again, where we have to wait for NES games, and then Super NES games, and then N64, and whatever else. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a good first step in terms of the 20 NES games, but it's just, I don't know. It's not as exciting as it feels like something like this should be. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of having, like, a Netflix-style service. I don't know if this is quite what that is yet. We just know they're giving you 20 games from the get-go, with more to come. But the fact that they branded it Nintendo Entertainment System, like, are they just gonna be more NES games coming down the line then? I mean, I wouldn't subscribe to a single service just for those, so...
Right. I think that's what I'm concerned about, is that this is so specific. Like, okay, you get these 20 NES games, you know, with this service, and there will be more, maybe, NES games in the future, but this doesn't sound like the beginning of this great Netflix-style service that I think that we're all hoping for. It sounds like the start of something very specific to this service that they're maybe going to try out, and we're going to get to play the same damn NES games that they've trotted out for Virtual Console-style services in the past.
At least Urban Champion isn't in the lineup yet.
True. We've dodged Urban Champion so far, but yeah. So yeah, I think I was just hoping that there would be something a little more stock put behind, like, what could potentially evolve into this Netflix-style service that we're hoping might happen someday.
The biggest tragedy, real quick, is Pinball is not on this NES list.
Yes.
What the hell?
I agree. That is actually a tragedy, because that game is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
We should see more games beyond the NES, though, because I believe even if they're in their initial reveal of the online and talking about being able to play old games, I think they mentioned SNES as well and having that idea.
They did.
So if I had to guess, they're probably going to roll out the system slowly over time, which is agonizing, let's be honest. Like,
when they first revealed the feature, it was originally going to be NES and Super Nintendo games of online, and then in the next update, Super Nintendo went missing, and now here we are now. So I have no idea if they backtracked on that completely. But one thing that's kind of got me, though, is all of these games are Nintendo published so far. So I wonder if this is going to be big with third parties. Like, will we get Final Fantasy or Mega Man or Contra or what have you?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, there are probably about 1 billion first-party games alone that could release through this on the NES. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's just now we know we're going to have to sit through all those questions being answered yet again. And it's just like, ah.
They really are. You know what's really funny is before the update officially, the update went out in Japan first before the NOA page refreshed with new info. But we were confused as to whether the information that was already there with like pricing was new or not. And we had totally forgotten they had already announced the pricing earlier. So it is so weird how how vague they've been on the service the entire time, rolling out these small, largely inconsequential details, and there's still more to be revealed. It's really weird, but I will say real quick, just to throw some more positivity in this, cloud saving, thank God. It's about time. It's
Yes.
too bad it has to be tied to the online service, but at the prices here, I don't think it's terribly unfair. And it's about time they added that, because if your Switch gets stolen and gets broken, you're screwed. You're up Crap Creek without a paddle, and there's nothing you can do. And
Yeah.
I don't want to play 200 hours of Breath of the Wild again to get back all my shrines and whatnot. So that is a very good thing, even if we kind of figured it'd be coming. Thank God it's finally here.
Yeah, it's like one of those weird, it's kind of one of those weird things where, yes, it's a significant addition and we're really happy to have it, but it also feels like the bare minimum that they needed to add for a paid service.
It should have been here from the start. But.
Exactly. So, but it is significant, and you're right, Andre. It is good that we're finally getting it. I just don't think it should have taken this.
I mean, like I said, this update's not exciting, it's just needed.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, again, I think this family membership, if it's plays out the way we think it is, where you can just split up among different Switches, the four of us could go in on it and significantly cut down how much we each have to pay, rather than each of us paying the $20 for it. So that really takes a load off this, and as far as that goes, like, that's a really good idea by Nintendo, I believe, and I think a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of that, because it just makes sense to do it that way and save some money, because the thing is, we're really not getting that much out of this. Like, we're getting the chance to play games online that we can already play online for free, and access to NES games that we've played millions of times before, saved it, cloud saving, which really should be there in the first place, and oh boy, that Switch Online app.
We'll get to that in a second, I think. But you're totally hitting it on the head there, Derek. Again, it's like nothing really exciting here. The most exciting thing here, again, being cloud saving, in my opinion, is something that only exists to prevent pain down the line. So that really isn't that exciting in and of itself either. So yeah, this whole thing is a little bit weird. I guess there are special offers coming down the line too. We don't know what those are yet.
I do. It'll be like 20% off on DKC Tropical Freeze, or 15% off on Sushi Striker or something. Yeah, it'll be on 3DS.
Maybe that's why Tropical Freeze is $60 on Switch. If you want that, cheaper $50 price point, you gotta pay $40 a year for it or whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly what those discounts are going to be, or whatever.
Again, just real quick, I don't think the pricing here is really that unfair.
No.
Especially like splitting it. If you can split it 8 ways, as it seems you can, that's pretty darn good. So even paying the full price individually, like, I'm not upset about it. It's just a little bit disappointing. Again, going back to the Super Nintendo thing, they teased that from over a year ago. Where are they? Like, when I first heard about playing the NES and Super NES games online with friends, I'm like, that sounds awesome, heck yeah. And the first thing that came to mind is Super Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart's not here. It's all NES games again. So...
I mean,
But
Super
you can
Mario
play Dr.
Kart,
Mario.
Tetris Attack.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, Dr. Mario is pretty awesome.
Oh,
I'll
it
give him
is.
that. But that's already been online with the Wii version, the WiiWare version, and I think another one too.
3DS,
So-
the Miracle Cure, I think it was called.
Right.
Yeah.
So even that's not new and exciting anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree, and there's also kind of the elephant in the room for me, which is, $19.99 per year for the non-membership plan is a great price, but is it that cheap because this isn't coming part and parcel with any improvements to the actual online play? Because that's... Oh, man, I mean, I was just
Great
playing the
point.
Splatfest this past weekend, and
Let me just throw it out there.
Yeah.
I would happily pay $60 a year, like Xbox Live, if this service warranted it. Right now, it clearly doesn't.
No.
But if they gave us like a much better selection of games, like a true Netflix-style service, like throw in some GameCube games, I think that would more than justify it. Right now, it doesn't, and I think you're right. They know that. That's why they're charging these low prices. And I think one of the key reasons why it doesn't justify it is, as you kind of just hit on there, we have to still rely on the Nintendo Switch Online app for voice talk or chatting, which I'm not going to use it.
No.
Yeah, and not only do we have to rely on that, but we also have to rely on Nintendo's online service actually working. I mean, I was playing the Splatfest this last weekend, and I still got lost connections. Like, couldn't connect to your opponents, kicking you back out to the lobby, and it's like, why is this still happening?
Right.
And I am worried that it's going to continue to happen after we start paying money for it.
Yeah, and we still don't know how online is going to work for third-party games either, because the site only specifies like Sushi
Right.
Striker and Splatoon. So, like, how's Payday going to work, for instance? We can't do any voice chat in that.
They mentioned that some games you won't be charged, or you won't have to have the online in order to play online. I guess you won't have to have a membership, I guess. So it's going to be on a case-by-case basis in some cases, and they'll have a way to indicate that whether you need the online membership or not. So maybe the third-party companies can opt in whether they want to be part of the membership or not. Is my guess.
Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think even back in the like Xbox One era, like EA games existed outside of the Xbox Live bubble, I think. Like they were kind of their own service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I could see that being handled on a case-by-case basis with third-party games.
Here's a question, though. Will Pokémon be covered under this subscription?
Ooh.
I hope so. It would need to be, right?
Well, so I mean, wow. So I wasn't even thinking in that direction. I was thinking if it's not covered here, it's free by default. Do you think other companies will charge on top of this? Because that is a death sentence.
I don't think that'll happen with Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen. Period.
The only extra service charge will be if because they'll want to bring over that. I forget the app, the Pokemon Bank. That'll need to come over.
Well, people already subscribe to that anyway.
Exactly.
So that's not a new thing. Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can see going on top of it. The question is whether Pokemon would charge for online or not.
Right.
That's tough.
I mean, I don't think they will. I assume that they'll be adding games to that list of covered titles as games are announced. Of course they will be. So my read on it is that they just haven't, revealed yet to be announced games that will be covered under this online service. But I would put money on Pokemon being covered.
And Pokemon is either going to be covered or it's going to be free to play. Period. So
Yeah.
you're not going to be paying more to play Pokemon online. I can guarantee you that.
There's no way they would lock that behind a paywall. That would be giving up too much
behind an additional
potential.
paywall.
Behind an additional paywall.
Smash is absolutely like I am more looking at this. I'm especially the lineup. I'm like there is no way this is not launching without Smash Brothers.
No way.
That's actually I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if nothing that we've seen announced today really, I don't know if Smash really needs any of this. I mean, right?
Well, Smash doesn't need it. The online service needs
Exactly.
Well, the online service, that's true. But yeah.
because right now, you look at the list of games being Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Tennis Aces, and Sushi Striker. Those are mostly going to be old news by the time this service launches, except for maybe Splatoon 2, which will go on forever. So I guess the main question is, do you think Smash launches alongside this, or do you think it's going to come a little bit later in the year?
No.
We know it's this year, obviously.
Absolutely launching beside this. I've been saying it for a while. After looking at this, it is absolutely launching beside this. There is no doubt in my mind.
So September, you think?
Oh yeah, I will put good money on it.
I kind of feel differently. I feel differently. I think it's actually still coming in late after September, because I don't think there's anything. I mean, yes, it's true that the online service needs Smash, but there's nothing that they've announced today that really suggests to me that they have to release the two together. I mean, yes, it would make the online service sound more interesting, but
that's the entire point. They need to help the online service. They realize that if you're going to make it people want to pay for online beyond the Splatoon 2 players, you need Smash, and that's how they're going to sell this. They need Smash to sell it. They're going to sell how good the online is, supposedly this time, and that's how this is going to be sold. Like, it's not about Smash needing online. It doesn't.
Right.
The online needs Smash.
I kind of agree with Derek, because again, I think a lot of these games are going to be old news by the time the Switch service launches. Like, Mario Tennis Aces will already be, 4 or 5 months old by that point, or 3 or 4 months old. Although, as a counterpoint though, Derek, if they don't nail the online in Smash Brothers Switch, it's almost like anti-advertising for the online service. Like, I don't want to pay for this garbage. True. Like, if there's button input again or button input lag again, I'm not going to want to deal with it. So,
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same. I mean, that's the thing is, I don't know how much excitement there would be anyway for the idea of having to play or playing Smash Online, but having to use that god awful voice chat app. Like that's the thing is, there's not an. I don't know how they. Yes, of course you're gonna have to. Yeah, I guess if they launch it together, then yeah, hey, you have to buy the online service to be able to play Smash Online. Yes, that's the obvious selling point right there. But if Smash doesn't come out until November, I mean, maybe they just defer those, that big launch for a couple of months, and they, they know that when Smash comes out, they're going to get a lot more buy-ins because you have to buy into that to play Smash Online. But prior to that, maybe they're expecting, okay, only the hardcore Switch owners who specifically want stuff like cloud saving and those 20 NES games will buy in at launch in September. Yeah, maybe it'll be a bit of a soft, weak launch, but then November, don't worry, we're going to get all these buy-ins because we're releasing Smash. I just wonder if that's kind of my angle where I'm coming from on this.
I can maybe see that, just so they can, prepare the servers, for example. That way they don't have to worry about it just getting crashed all the time. Could still happen because it is Smash, but I can maybe see that, but I'm still firm on September.
No, and that's fair. I mean, I can see your angle. I think I'm just more also still caught up on the idea that Smash just doesn't feel like a September game. I mean, it's only 4 months away-ish, so that angle still sounds crazy to me. But there's no
even
reason
November is only a couple months after that.
No,
so
you're
it's not that much farther. Yeah,
totally right. Yeah,
and Smash is close. No matter how you cut it, Smash is close.
Yeah, no matter how you cut it, it's true.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the just the most disappointing thing here. I mean, again, I'm actually fine. I'm okay with the price. I'm not upset by any of this. I think, one cloud savings, that's good. I want to play my games online, so at the price is not bad. I just think, after the wait, after, a year and a half of teasing, I was just expecting something a little bit more thought out than what we got here.
Yeah, it does feel like they're in the very beginning stages of still planning out what they want some of this stuff to be. Like, again, the NES games. Why is it just 20 NES games? Again, they as you guys have said, they already talked about Super Nintendo games. Now they're going back on that. It's still, even after all this time, doesn't feel like they themselves are completely ready. They themselves are totally ready about what they want this to be.
Mm-hmm. They always kind of refer to this this free period we've had since launch as like a free trial. And that's kind of exactly what it feels like. This doesn't feel any different to what we currently have.
Right.
And
no, it really
I gotta
doesn't.
tell you, I used the mobile app in Splatoon 2 once, maybe just to test it out. But every single other time I've played Splatoon 2 is just over Skype or Discord.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to change at all when this launches.
No. I mean, why would it? There's still absolutely no compelling reason to use that voice chat app. It's so bad. It's there's really no reason to.
Could you imagine if Nintendo had actually worked officially with Discord and some
I was gonna
capacity
say
to
that.
right?
Yeah,
Make,
I was just
rooms,
thinking
dynamic rooms that that are created on the spot in a program that's much more usable and user friendly than Nintendo's official app. I think that would be much more forward thinking than what they're doing here with their own thing.
But Andre, think
Yeah,
of the
I mean,
kids.
Xbox One just did that actually.
There we go.
They had official Discord implementation, and if you also look at Xbox Game Pass, that's somewhat similar to what we have with NES games here. Apart from that's not included with Xbox Live, so I guess we have different parallels there. But it's interesting how we're sort of willing to pay for both Xbox Live and Game Pass rather than pay for this smaller price subscription service with NES games.
Yeah.
You're so right.
But they're NES games. They've been re-released.
I know
That's
exactly.
fair.
They were
Yeah,
re-released
they're
on the
NES
Game
games that
Boy
we've
Advance.
played.
They were re-released on the Wii, the Wii U,
Yeah.
the 3DS.
You could play them for free in Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
There's an entire console dedicated to replaying some of these games.
Yeah, right, exactly. It is. Don't get me wrong. I love NES games. I grew up with them, but we've just seen them so many times. There's literally nothing exciting about them now. Even being able to play them with friends, that's a cool novelty. I'll probably do it once or twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was for whatever reason the X-Band came back into memory. Do you guys remember the X-Band at all?
Of course I do.
Yeah, it allowed you to play Super Nintendo games online back in the day. Why can't Nintendo pull this off these days? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about the same company that literally took over a year to bring A Link to the Past to the Wii U Virtual Console, one of their most treasured story
true.
games of all time. It took them over a year, so anything, nothing would surprise me at this point. But yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not that intrinsically exciting, and I mean, it is cool, I guess, that we can do, you can play single-player NES games and switch control between the two of you. I mean, that's kind of like PS4 share play. That's cool that you can do that.
Right.
But again, you're saying that we can do this with NES games that we have all finished a billion times by now. So I just don't see that much... I don't know. I don't see that much interest in sitting down to be like, okay, I'm going to play Zelda 1 online with my buddy, and we're just going to switch back and forth. I mean, we've all finished Zelda 1 a billion times. I don't know.
The irony kind of is, right, that kind of feature with NES games that appeal most to people in our demographic, who grew up with those games, and we've already beaten them with, our friends on the couch, back in the day, so...
Right, and it's just, there aren't that many really interesting competitive multiplayer solutions on NES. If you open this up to Super Nintendo, then immediately, you got Street Fighter, you got Tetris Attack, you've got, oh my god, you've got, all Uniracers, all these great Super Nintendo games that would be awesome to have online multiplayer for.
Kirby's Dream Course, which I actually say unironically now, because I actually do like the multiplayer in that game. So.
Right, but yeah, like all these games, with NES, it's just the pool of potential multiplayer titles is so much less interesting on NES, and I can't help but feel like this would be a lot more exciting if they were launching with maybe 10 NES games and 10 SNES games,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. So when they just say Nintendo Entertainment System, they mean Nintendo. Oh, wait, no, they say 20 NES games. Never mind.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, here's the other thing. Even if they didn't have Smash Switch available in September, if they had GameCube games and this whole feature of being able to play online with each other with these old games that they're re-releasing, put Smash Melee out there. Say what you will about Melee, but that will generate hype.
Oh yeah,
that would generate hype.
I just want GameCube games. Like, seriously.
Here's a question then. I guess first off, are you guys happy with the price as is? And would you have been willing to pay more? Like, do you think it would have been a good idea for Nintendo to raise the price across the board for a more compelling feature set? And the thing is, like, no matter what, Nintendo has us by the balls here. We have to pay for this regardless. So, I mean, if you want to play any game online, for the most part, as far as we know. So, but do you think, would you have been happier paying a little bit more if it meant a more quality service? Like, if they hadn't, included SNES games and maybe even beyond, what do you think would have been a fair price for that?
If we got a true Netflix-like service where we had a start, let's say 10 to 20 games from each of their systems to start out with. Let's say 10 if we're going for a wide variety of going NES to GameCube and having access to these games. I think I'd be willing to pay up to 40, maybe even 60, depending on how much the lineup was. Because that, like, let's be honest, Nintendo has one of the best lineups of all game lineups of all time. Like, and to have access to 10 games from each of their systems going forward, that'd be pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, even if it was just, look, if they're launching with multiple consoles, even if it was just 5 games per console, or even 2 to 3 with the promise that more are coming, like they have done with all virtual consoles, barring the original Wii Virtual Console, because that launched with, I think, like 12 games or something. But, even if it was just 2 to 3 games per platform with, weekly or bi-weekly updates, I would be willing to pay more for the promise of having games added from various classic consoles over time. But NES alone just it's just not that exciting in comparison. Even just NES and Super Nintendo, I would be willing to pay a little more. But I will say, to answer your original question, Andre, I do think that $20 a year for everything is completely fair. Like, I do want to make it clear, yes, I'm totally disappointed that this isn't a little more interesting, but $20 a year is a very fair price for what you're getting here, I think.
Yeah, 20's fair, and I think if you rip away cloud saving and online play and all the other benefits and just focus on the classic game library, that could have been a service all in itself if it was done right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the thing is I don't think that many people want to pay that much just for NES games. If it were N64, for example, with like Mario Kart 64 and Super Smash Bros. And Mario Party and all those other games, that could have been something really, really special. But as it is, it's fine priced as it is at 20. And I think if it were better, if they had more stuff going on, maybe 40 would be fair. Man, I think I would pay 20 just for online and then 20 for the other stuff too. So yeah, 40 does sound like a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if they had online service for N64 the same way they have for the NES, and we'd finally have online Mario Party.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
my
Play
God.
Mario Party 2
Oh my
online.
God.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be amazing.
that would be awesome.
It's true. ND Cube's not gonna make it happen any other way. So
You know what would also be awesome is having, like, if they, let's say Smash does come out in November, and the online service is obviously launching in September. Just as, of course, if they had N64 games, but imagine 2 months of online Smash 64 hype leading into Smash, the next Smash release. That would be awesome.
That'll be perfect.
So
I
cool.
agree.
Yeah,
You're so right.
But, I mean, I guess there's, TMNT Tournament Fighters for NES if we ever get
Yeah, that's
third-party
true.
games
God.
on the NES. But, yeah.
You did just remind me of one concern I potentially have, and I wonder how well these games are going to run, because these games weren't built for online play originally, so I wonder, just how much lag there might be, or how much perceptible lag there might be, because I think they're going to use a model similar to Smash Brothers, where it has to wait on every frame for input, right? So if there's any kind of lag between your connection, that might be a problem. Just with the game hanging up until it gets that data, or I don't know how it's going to handle it. Maybe we'll just ignore data it's not getting.
Well, I mean, we already know that out of every possible company, Nintendo is easily the best poised to take advantage of online features and great net play, so I'm not worried at all. Not worried at all for a second.
Yeah, I'm impressed you said that without cracking up.
I was for a second, because none of you were saying anything, I was like, is this joke landing the way I thought it would? Maybe they think I'm really serious, and no, I'm not.
Yep.
But yeah, no, this is again, it's not that interesting when you look at the package of what you're getting, but I do think $20 a year is perfectly fair.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Like, I want to stress that. It's just not exciting at the same time. It's like paying for internet or your phone bill. Like, you do it. I don't get excited for it.
Yeah.
But, John, you kind of hit on something earlier, which I think... I guess it's maybe a question, I suppose, but I like the idea of maybe if they do broaden the service. Like, what if this is the baseline subscription and the NES service is kind of like a tease or like a preview of what they may... Like, what if they offer add-on services, like, where they do have their Game Pass offering or their Netflix-style offering, where you can add on to this base price for better games, for more exciting games, GameCube games, 64 games, whatever else. I think that could still work. So, it's probably not in the works because that seems like an obvious thing, and Nintendo doesn't do the obvious. But I'd be fine with that. Like, as I said, I'm fine with this price as is. But if they want to offer a better, gold tier if you want for better games, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be okay too. I mean, I'd be happy bumping that up to a little more per month for more classic gaming options, more... I mean, if they ever announce, like, a premium voice chat option that you can do, like, Switch native voice chat, I'd shell out for extra for that too, just so I don't have to go through an outside service, or, God forbid, their voice app. But, yeah, I mean, I do think there are ways here they could expand the feature set, expand the perks, and, bump up that price a little bit, but give you more premium options. I would love that approach, Andre.
Yeah, one thing that worries me though is I don't think we can ever get back to the Wii era of Virtual Console where we had like Sega and Neo Geo and all that, because Sega are busy with Sega Ages right now. They have no interest in giving us free games because they want to charge obviously for their M2 developed games, like they're doing Sonic the Hedgehog and other stuff like that soon. So I don't think we're ever gonna have Sega games on this service, which is a shame.
Yeah, and we've already kind of seen the beginnings of that, though, too, with, like, the Arcade Archive stuff and the ACA Neo Geo stuff. Like, I don't think we're going to see Neo Geo Virtual Console games either, because, technically they've already kind of been available, in a way, since the Switch's launch.
Right.
Yeah, not looking good for the Virtual Console, but...
Although, to be fair, it hasn't been for a little... I mean, really, I think the writing's been on the wall for the Virtual Console brand ever since the Classics line kind of started. It's just a matter of what Nintendo's going to kind of hopefully remold that into going forward.
Yeah. We still don't really know. Like,
yeah,
because this doesn't address it. It addresses one console of it, so beyond that, it's a little bit weird how we're still left in the dark on the whole Virtual Console thing and what you're placing it. I mean, because at this point, I didn't expect it to come back. I felt like the SNK announcement kind of like was a nail in the coffin, even though, or the third nail in the coffin for PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do hope that they are treating this as kind of maybe like the base model, and they're going to continue to build off of it with, a more premium service maybe. And as Ash kind of touched on, like even if that includes I don't know if that can include like a better voice chat, because I feel like that needs to be a unified type thing. I mean, it would have to be, I think. You can't have like, half the people on Discord and half the people on Nintendo's crappy
That's
app. But yeah, I hope that's something they address later on. I mean, that's probably the most disappointing thing here. It's just a voice app again. Like, I don't want to use that voice app. It's garbage before. It's still garbage.
But it's also, and that's true, but it's also completely against Nintendo's MO to like partner with a company like Discord. And, because think of the kids. Because kids certainly aren't, using Discord of their own volition without parental consent already.
No.
Like,
there aren't any kids in the official Discord we just launched a few days ago.
No, none whatsoever. But, you got to protect the kids and all that. So
Exactly.
I guess that's just not something that Nintendo would normally do as much as we wish they would.
Well, anything else to say about this online service? For not being excited about, we sure did talk about it for 30 minutes.
Well, we're GameXplain still. So.
That is true.
I will add that I would pay for a Tetris Attack tier. If they only added Tetris Attack to the online game service, I would pay extra just to have that online.
If they had just included a Game Boy, Game Boy games, they could have made that happen because there was a Game Boy version of Tetris Attack.
There was, that's true.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just missed out on it, but
Yep.
well, that's our thoughts on the new aspects of the Nintendo Switch online service. So thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on the Switch and other things gaming as well. Until next time, guys. Bye.